So today we're going to tear down a really fascinating brand playbook. It's from a company called Selvinx, and what's so interesting is that their entire operating system is built around one single powerful idea: clarity. Let's get into it. But first, let me ask you something. Think about your own business for a second. Does your digital presence, your website, does it ever just feel chaotic? Like a messy garage of different tools, pages, and decisions that don't quite connect? Well, that feeling of website chaos is the exact problem Selvinx decided to solve. So, first up, let's really dig into the problem itself. Because we're not just talking about a messy website here. We're talking about the very real and often totally hidden costs that come with all that digital chaos. And look, this chaos isn't some vague, abstract idea. The playbook breaks it down into 10 super specific indicators. You've got things like your website taking more than 3 seconds to load, or having no clear call to action above the fold, that first screen people see. Or maybe you're missing social proof, stuff like testimonials or case studies. These aren't just little design mistakes. They are silent conversion killers. They're literally leaking potential customers and revenue every single day. Okay, so if the problem is chaos, what's the solution? Well, it's actually beautifully simple: clarity. This one idea is the core principle that organizes every single other part of their brand. Now, what I love about this is how they capture their whole essence in just one sentence. Notice, they don't say we build websites. No, they are an always-on web team. That promises something totally different, right? It promises reliability, top-tier execution, and constant improvement month after month. And this slide just lays it out so perfectly. You can see the transformation they're promising. They take clients from chaos to clarity, from guessing about what works to being guided by experts. It's not just a service, it's a journey from a bad place to a good one. And that makes the value crystal clear. So how do they actually deliver on this promise? This is key. They call themselves a fractional web department. Now, that's not just a fancy name, it's a whole new category. It immediately positions them as a single integrated operator that solves that core structural problem of trying to manage a bunch of scattered freelancers, plugins, and tools. All right, so how do they actually turn this idea of clarity into a real working system? In this next section, we get to see that this isn't just a marketing buzzword for them. No, it's an engineered principle with actual rules and logic built into everything they do. The whole system is built on these 3 pillars. First, you've got identity and voice, which is all about how they communicate. Then there's visual and web presence, which is how they look. And finally, acquisition and fulfillment, which covers how they actually find and serve their clients. I mean, check this out. Even their color palette is rule-based. By setting these strict ratios, 60% black, 25% light, and so on, they make sure the brand always feels premium, buttoned up, and structured. It never feels chaotic or random. That level of precision, of clarity, runs through absolutely everything. Now for getting clients. Their strategy isn't your typical linear funnel. It's a flywheel. Here's how it works. The inbound engine builds authority, right? That makes the outbound engine's conversations feel welcome, not like cold calls. Those conversations then feed the conversion engine, and those new clients create the social proof that fuels the inbound engine all over again. See? It's a self-reinforcing system that just builds momentum over time. And their sales process follows the exact same logic. They call it the two-call-close system, and it's framed just like a doctor's visit. Call number 1 is pure diagnosis, just understanding the business, clarifying the real problem. Then, and only then, do you have call number 2, which is the prescription, presenting the solution. This completely removes that icky feeling of being sold to and builds a huge amount of trust right from the start. Okay, so we've seen the nuts and bolts, the systems, the rules. But what does all this systematic clarity actually feel like for a client? Well, the playbook actually has a whole section dedicated to just that: the human experience. It all kicks off with what they call the anti-agency onboarding promise. Get this, within the first 72 hours of signing up, all of this stuff is done. The audit is complete, the critical issues are fixed, the roadmap is delivered. I mean, can you just imagine the feeling of speed and organization that delivers? It's designed to create instant relief. And this quote from their playbook, man, it just nails it. This is the feeling they're going for: relief. The emotional payoff for a system that is built from the ground up to destroy chaos. Finally. And that feeling doesn't stop after day 3. It's maintained through really smart, proactive communication. Things like a weekly clarity snapshot, so you always know what's up, or my personal favorite, a silent fixes log. That's where they solve problems you didn't even know you had. It builds trust by showing competence without you even having to ask. All right, so let's tie all of this together. What the Selvinx playbook really shows us is how a simple principle like clarity can be turned into a powerful, honest-to-God, competitive weapon. This right here is the core insight of the whole thing. They call it the peace of mind close. They understand that their clients aren't really buying code or design. What they're truly buying is peace of mind. They're buying the ability to sleep at night knowing this part of their business is just handled. And when you think that way, you end up with these really deep differentiators that are almost impossible for a traditional agency to copy. As you can see here, they're not just designers, they're web operators. They don't sell one-off deliverables, they provide a complete system. This completely reframes the conversation and builds a powerful moat around their business. And that leaves us with a final question to chew on. Selvinx built its entire universe around this one principle: clarity. It informed their service, their marketing, their sales, their visuals, everything. So the question to take away from all this is, what is the one core principle that your business is built on?